If the first game breaks, we'll get you know it up, put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, blue games after this win in. First you again, we're here for the first minute. Carry my team never 6 minutes.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
The culture that hype and everyone has created in this building, it's been phenomenal on teams, and we're only going to continue to be better. And the standard around here, I've said it before, I'll say it again, standards to be the damn best. And we're never stopping.
We've got to raise the bar, and we've got to continue to raise the bar. I don't think any of those young men, when they signed to come to Tennessee, they signed to say they wanted to come and be a part of a 7-6 program. All right, they said they wanted to come and compete for championships, SEC championships, national championships. I know that's what I want. I know that's what Tennessee wants. I know that's what the expectation is. So we've got to continue to reassess everything that we're doing and make sure that we're continuing to move the needle in the right direction.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley.
And I'm Coach Jay.
Man, my camera is all jacked up. Right before we went live,
Mine too.
My microphone fell. Everything is a living hell on this Friday morning, Coach. But guess what? We are one day away. It's Gator Hater Week. I'm ready to go take on Florida in the Swamp. It's a big one. It is a big one.
Fired up, man. Fired up, as always, for Gator Week. Hey, man, I don't miss these games. You know, never. I have a picture. I almost made it my profile picture where I'm holding my daughter. She was born at midnight, and I think we played the Gators that year. On East Coast time at 9 a.m. My daughter was born at midnight, and I got a picture holding her in the hospital, just glued to the TV screen, So this game definitely has importance to a lot of Tennessee fans. I know a lot of these young bucks out there, who have gone through the tough times, the dark days with Florida, have a special hate for them, that your Xavier's out there and those. And I think our generation certainly has no love lost for Florida either. So we've all been pointing to this game as a game where we need to get everything going, right, and use it as a jump off point. I think it was a jump off point for this team last year after looking a little shaky, week one and even week two looking a little shaky. I know the Akron score wasn't as shaky, but certainly from an injury point, it was shaky, and I believe Hendon had a little bit of a tough go of it as well that game. Sound a little familiar, Tennessee Volunteer fans. So this is kind of game where you want to buckle that chin strap up extra tight. There's that tension in the air in the locker room that you could cut through with a knife, and everyone's focused, everyone's ready to work together and fight together. And man, that's what gets you excited about football as a coach, as a player, as a fan. I don't care who you are, that feeling in the air, it's electric, and I'm here for it.
We are right around the corner from Tennessee, Florida. We got a fun show planned for you today. We got Bull in the house from BlueChip Breakdown. Been talking about him for a while. Me and Coach Jay putting some plans together. Man, it happened way faster than we expected. We're going to get him on here in just a second. Let's run down the chat. Let's see who is hanging out in the chat. Jack is here. Says, we're coming to the swamp. We're going to dominate. What are you? Are you Dion? We're coming. We're coming. Big Orange Nate's in the house. Says, let's go Blue Chip. Yeah, we're going to get Bull on here in just a second. Angry Titan is here. Tajon Washington is in that. Dude, Tajon's he's an OG. He has been around this channel forever. Says, good morning, Talkin VAWLS. What's going on, brother? Christopher is in the house. Ron the Don is here. We've also got some super chats. We got a member chat from Tyler Adams, member for 15 months. 15 months, Tyler's been supporting this channel. We are grateful for that support. Thank you for that. Noah James for 2 says, door feed, GBO, I believe in this team and this coach. We've also got $2 from Lil Spooky. Says, morning, fellas. What is up, buddy? Good to see you in the chat. Ron the Don for $10. That is not cheap. Says, Boogie, good morning from work. I am sneaking in, but I got to disagree with you. 2001 Travis Stevens is the original Gator killer. GBO, let's go. You know, you talk a lot about Casey Clausen because he went down there into the swamp, undefeated in the swamp. That's the first guy I think about when I think about taking care of the Gators. But thank you, Ron the Don, for the super chat. Scott Bennett for 5. Cover charge. Steve Spurrier is a Science Hill hack. Go Bug Orange, he says. Bug Orange. Bug Orange. It's early. It's early, Scott. We'll forgive you for that. Go Big Orange. Thank you for the super chat, brother. Dakota for 5. Appreciate that. Is Coach Jay in his office at work? Different thing. Love the show. Go Volunteers. Yep, Coach is getting ready for the big game tonight. He learned from last week. He's given us a good 63 effort. He's got the camera angled a different way, so the game plan's not seen. Matt Mars for 5. Thank you for the super chat. What is 20 foot long and has 5 teeth? The concession line at Florida. Go Big Orange. Thank you, Matt, for that. All right, let's get Bull on here. Let's talk some ball. You know, a wise man once told me, you don't have to be good at what you do. Just surround yourself with people that know what they're talking about, and then you look good, and that's what I'm going to do. With you and Bull in the house at the same time, I know nothing about football. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man, thank y'all so much for having us on. Appreciate it.
Excited to get you on here, talk a little bit about this Tennessee-Florida game coming up. But first, anybody that doesn't know who you are or what Blue Chip Breakdown is, first of all, the link to their YouTube channel is in the description below. Make sure you guys go show them that Talkin VAWLS love, that Talkin VAWLS rub. Go over there and give them a sub. But tell them what you guys do over there, what your background is, and what you do on your channel.
Yeah, so, first off, we've been Tennessee fans, lifelong. Me and my brother, we play football 16, 17 years, all the way up high school, college, coaching background. And we pretty much just talk about the X's and O's, just different things that maybe the average fan wouldn't see or understand with the upcoming players, with the current roster. So we do film breakdown on the high school players, and then we also do some banter on the Tennessee practices too.
That's what we're going to get into in the future. We're going to do some crossover, some film breakdown stuff. Once we get into the offseason, I'm looking forward to it, man. Letting you and Coach Jay, maybe I can create a rivalry, get you guys to disagree and argue. But let's talk about this Tennessee football team, Bull. What are your thoughts 2 weeks into the season? A win over Virginia, a sloppy win over Austin Peay. What do you think about this football team going into the game against Florida?
Well, number one for me, biggest thing is always front seven play. And I feel like we've got probably, especially talking about defense, probably the best front seven maybe in this entire country. We're leading the nation in sacks. And then, obviously Heupel's going to have that offense going. So we kind of hit a little bit of a rough patch last week, but we're going to have that fixed. And, I feel like we kind of got to cool out on the Nico talk. I think that Joe is the guy, but we'll see how we do going down to the swamp.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Coach.
But, no. I was just going to chime back in on that. Hey, look, I know we've had some fun and and Boogie's put me on the spot with Nico, you know, a kid that I've been around out here. But, you know, like I said, hey, I'm rooting for Joe. It's Joe's. He's got a chokehold on this starting position. We need to get behind him. And man, I want to see him finish that out by choking out this Gators defense. No doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Yep. Bull's been in here for 2 minutes, and he's already turned the entire chat against me. Thank you, Bull. No more Nico talk.
Get him, chat.
Set the floor for $5. Thank you for the super chat. Hey, good lookins. What we got cooking? Well, we got some Gator cooking up this week. You know, it feels like a big one, guys. It's something I feel like I've been live about 12 hours this week. I feel like I've talked this game to death, but it feels like a big fight feel. And I've kind of talked about how for two different reasons, right? Florida feels like, I think it was Paul Feinbaum said this game's must win for the Gators. Lost 4 of their last 5. The only win over McNeese State. They got a gauntlet coming up in SEC play. Kind of feels like Billy Napier's on the hot seat, even though he's got that big, that big buyout, hostile environments Saturday night in the Swamp. I think their fan base they're looking for something to give them hope, right? A little glimmer of hope. I think Tennessee needs to start fast on Saturday, and this is an interesting. This is straight from Brent Hubbs. I always like to give credit where I get it. This is his research. Start fast. In the first quarter, Tennessee's found the end zone 1 time in 9 drives through 2 games. Says they have a field goal, 5 punts, and 2 failures on 4th down against Virginia. Milton started off 7 of 10 in the first quarter, but just for 41 yards. Didn't try to stretch the field. Against Austin Peay, we all know that was a horrible start for Joe. 1 for 7, 11 yards in the first quarter. Bull, what does Tennessee have to do to keep Florida's crowd out of it and start fast in the Swamp on Saturday night?
Well, I would like to see us run maybe like some zone reads and let Joe just run it. Try to peel off maybe 10, 15 yards, just get him going, kind of take the crowd out of the game. But, I mean, Florida's going to play us they're going to play us with like a lot of man coverage, 3. We're going to have people open. They're going to blitz a lot. We just got to pitch and catch. That's pretty much it. I would also like to see us get Jalen Wright going, Small going, Sampson. And, once we can just get that run game going, once we can hit maybe 1 or 2 big plays, I mean, we're going to blow that game wide open.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're going to see Heupel pulling out all those stops. I think we're going to see what we've been missing out on, Heupel putting those DBs and defenders in conflict, right? And setting up those matchups where you want them, taking advantage of those blitzes, pitching, catching where they're not. I completely agree with you. And of course, establish that ground attack, give them a little taste of their own medicine. We haven't seen a lot of misdirection out of this offense yet. I think you'll definitely see some of that coming out in the run game as well from Heupel. So it'd be nice to kind of, dive into that playbook. And I think we hit a deep ball or 2 in this game as well.
I think that's going to be key. The Joe Milton talk. If Joe goes out and plays good on Saturday, it's gone. It'll be buried. It'll be put away. Mm-hmm. The problem is we went through this whole offseason asking the question, which Joe are we going to get, right? He comes out, plays – I thought he played solid against Virginia, struggled early against Austin Peay, and it's immediately battered ball syndrome. You get triggered back to 2021. Oh, this isn't the guy. Joe's got to go out and prove he can be the guy. I like what Bull said about maybe get him running the football earlier, and that's something – maybe he needs to get popped in the mouth. And Brent Hubbs, again, I'll just plug Brent Hubbs all day long on this show. But he said, man, just let Nico go out and chuck one. See, you guys see what just happened? I just said Nico. Let Joe go out and chuck one 70 yards down the field. Get it out of his system. Look, he's going to be full of energy, and he's going to be anxious, and he's going to be excited. Everybody knows the quote, I don't lose in Florida. Joe's got to go out and prove it. What do you guys think? We had this argument. We had this debate the other night on the channel. Bull, what do you call early for Joe? Because I'm the most conservative guy on the planet when it comes to play calling. Let's give him some easy throws. Let's let him settle in. Maybe, run him a little bit like you said. Do you take a shot early with Joe? Because if he hits it, we're off to the races.
Absolutely. So if you look when Florida played against Utah on that first play, it was a double move post. Florida's DBs will falter on any double move. So I would say maybe max protect, double move to maybe Brew, somebody who is going to catch it. Mm-hmm. Dante, Squirrel, any of those guys. Keaton, something like that. Throw something deep, get a big chunk play, if not a score. I mean, that's pretty much going to be it All we need is one big play early on in this game. Florida's gonna shut down.
I like Coach Jay mentioned Tennessee using a little misdirection on offense. We've talked about Tennessee being very vanilla. I'm excited to see that. But him bringing up misdirection is something you guys talked about on your show when you were breaking down this Tennessee-Florida game, how Florida likes to use a little bit of misdirection. And you know, you said earlier, I agree with you. I think Tennessee, their front seven is really good, maybe the best in the country. You drop the stats, leading in tackles for loss, leading in sacks. I think Tennessee's defensive line particularly gives them an edge, gives them an advantage. But you mentioned the name Elijah Herring. Because, you know, Keenan Peely goes down. These linebackers are going to have to play good football. Tell me a little bit about that, what you see when you watch Florida and the way they use misdirection and how Tennessee can respond to that.
Well, number one, I mean, linebackers' eyes have to be in the correct places. So they're going to give you a whole lot of window dressing, you know, a whole lot of motion, things like that to make you look in different ways. Mm-hmm. But as I've watched film more, I've realized that their offense is actually very, very simple. You know, Utah had a great game plan. It seemed like they knew exactly what they were going to do. So I know that Tim Banks is going to have something in place for that. But that's pretty much what it all boils down to, is knowing what you're supposed to do on defense and just doing it. And that's something that Herring can definitely do. I think that Carter is somebody else who can do it. He's probably the best athlete, maybe on that entire defense, but he's still new. So that's one of my biggest questions is he going to be able to take what he's learned in the film room and put that onto the field?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Amen to that on the linebackers needing to stay home, Bull. Definitely a good eye discipline. And, hey, the defensive line needs to practice, great gap integrity throughout this whole game, right? And just, not fall for any of that bull crap. And, I just want to see them continue to push that line of scrimmage back. They've been elite at that, in my opinion, pushing that offensive line back, a good 6 inches, it seems like almost every play. I think the more you can play in the backfield from a defensive line standpoint and reset that line of scrimmage, the more dividends it's going to pay, right? Whenever you want to run play action, whenever you can get D-line, linebacker, whoever it may be in that backfield, you're going to see major disruption during the play action sequence. So it's something we definitely want to do. Billy is a pretty good run game schemer. He's a pretty poor route game schemer. His routes lead something to be desired, definitely. So maybe beyond watching, that wheel route, that drag route to the tight end they like to run. And then, of course, Pearsall, someone needs to put a collar on him. But certainly I think we have all the tools in the toolbox this defense needs to go out there and pitch close to a shutout. Just want to see him play with a lot of aggression, but a lot of discipline as well.
Absolutely. And then, too, really, really quickly, something else that I didn't add, but linebackers have got to tackle. He's going to check down a lot. I think that just with how we play, coverage, he's going to be dumping it off. We got to come up. We have to make good, solid tackles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coach,
you saw that a lot, too, the last few weeks.
How would you recommend somebody makes a tackle, Coach?
Just ass down, head up, wrap up, hat on the ball, nice knees to nuts, splitting that form and getting after it. Yeah, I know we have a little fun on that with the old heads up tackling format there, and throw a little twist on it. So a little something to all the film breakdown kids out there.
Let me jam through some super chats real quick. We got 270 people watching live right now. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Smash the thumbs up. You guys know the deal. That plays the algorithm game. Let's beat YouTube. Let's trick the algorithm. Make people think you really like the content you are seeing here. Go sub up Blue Chip Breakdown. The link is in the description. All you got to do is click it. Make sure you guys sub them up. See what they got going on over there. Nicholas for 2. Thank you for the super chat. Must win for us is Florida, Carolina, and Kentucky. It's weird, man. I don't think this is a must-win, but it's like Coach said earlier. If you're going to kind of catapult and you're gonna go win 9 or 10 games, I think it is a must-win. But definitely feels must-win for Billy Napier. The Real Hank for 10. Dorothy, my grandpa's who made me a BFL all my life. It's been all Vols, but he broke his neck. Broke his neck recently. Has been in a brace, but he's out of it now, so he can celebrate this win. He said, "Crazy old man." You can't fake old man strength. I'm sure he probably ripped that neck brace off before he was supposed to. Glad he's doing better, and hopefully we will be celebrating a win on Saturday night. Carson for 2. I was 7 the last time we won. Tennessee 45, Florida 24. GBO, Robert Tuck for 2. Cannot let Florida jump a quick hitch for the pick early. Don't speak that into existence, Robert, but I do appreciate the super chat. Papa J is here. Thank you for the $5. Says, let's feast on Gator meat. Let's go Big Orange. Thank you, Papa J, for the super chat. We appreciate that. Brother, all right, let's get back into it. Let's keep talking a little bit about this Tennessee defense. How weird does that sound? Josh Heupel, coach football team. We're talking about defense. I know we're only two weeks into this thing. Tennessee giving up 13 points a game. 183 passing yards per game, 87 rushing yards per game. But that's something we've seen since Rodney Garner came back to Tennessee Bull is dominance on the line of scrimmage in the running game. And I like that, Tennessee's getting after the quarterback early. It's good to see that mix this year. Yeah. How good can Tennessee be if they take a big jump forward on defense but kind of regress a little on offense? It's kind of funny to be talking about this with a Josh Heupel football team, but how much does defense mean to Tennessee this season, and how can that help them improve?
Well, so I think that this year's offense is going to be different. That's something that we've talked about on my channel. And it just seems like we're going to have to lean a lot more on that running game. So I think that works well for the defense. And then with the way that the defense has been playing, it works well for the offense. I think that this defense can, we can be top 5. If we have a top 5 defense with a Josh Heupel offense, I mean, nobody's going to be able to stop us. Once that passing game gets going, once we start to click with that, I don't see there's just no way for you to be able to stop it. We saw what Georgia did last season, 4, 5, 6 inside of the box, and it was able to stop our run game. This season, our run game is too strong. You can't play like that, and there's too many openings on the outside. So I think that the defense taking that step forward puts this team, in my personal thoughts, I think that we are already top 5 in this country.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what's been frustrating to a lot of Tennessee fans so far is, we've been asking when this defense can turn that corner, come around, and it looks like they've turned that corner and come around, and we're checking the front door to see when the offense is going to walk through it with it, and just start clicking. It's been there in spurts and in moments, but just getting that, that real click, that Josh Heupel momentum and pace and rhythm to that offense is something we need to get. I think we're going to be able to get it this week, though, and silence those critics out there, those Josh Pates of the world picking against the Volunteers this weekend.
That's the word that keeps getting thrown around is rhythm. Whatever it is, something's off. Something's not clicking with this Tennessee offense. Now, Cooper May's been out the first 2 games. Rumors that he could be back for this game against Florida. According to Josh Heupel, he will travel, but then he used the word anticipate. We anticipate he will be ready to go. Now, there's some guys out there that like to say opposite. Tony Basilio out there claiming that Cooper Mays is going to be out till October. We know Josh Heupel always kind of doesn't tell you the whole truth when it comes to injuries. So it does not surprise me at all. You got a limited number of guys that you can dress and you can travel with on a road game. Would you waste that spot on Cooper Mays if you didn't really think he was going to play? But if he does play, a lot of people saying, oh, that's going to get our chemistry back. That's going to get our rhythm back. So let me talk out of both sides of my mouth here, Bull. Then you can take this whichever way you want to go. Yep. Will Cooper really get our rhythm, that whatever is missing, will he give us our rhythm back? Obviously, you want Cooper Mays back. I think he's the anchor of the offensive line. I think he's your leader out there. Maybe you slide Ollie Lane over to guard instead of Andrej Karic. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. But can he fix the rhythm? Because to me, we're out of rhythm because we're dropping passes. We're throwing bad passes. Can Cooper Mays help get this offense in sync, I guess, if you will?
I definitely think so, especially whenever you talk about going down to the swamp. It's going to be really, really loud. Center's going to have to be able to tell everybody what they're doing on that front. So obviously Cooper is good at that. He's great at it. And, I think he's a better overall blocker. So sometimes just a little bit of a push, especially coming from the middle, it can throw the offensive rhythm off too. I think having him back is going to be huge for us. And just to kind of throw something else out there for you, Florida's got their starting center coming back too. And I think that's going to be a huge upgrade. I know we're not really talking about this now, but that's something that I noticed is that their center got pushed around a lot. So, both teams getting them back. And I'm just anxious to see how it's all going to play out. But just to answer your question, for sure. Cooper coming back, I think, is going to help this offense out tremendously.
Yeah, 100%. I'm really excited you caught that too with the Florida center, because it's been a weak spot. I think I pointed out right after the Utah game, kind of a throwaway comment, but that's been a weak point of that Florida offensive line, certainly. And we see what it can do to pace and just everything when the center's out. In the Heupel offense, we've talked about it. It's the gas pedal position, right? That's what gets your offense set up, lined up, and moving downfield along in conjunction with the quarterback. So you really need it there. And not only that, when you look at Sproggins, Carrick's played better than we thought he was going to play, right?
Yeah.
So when you solidify, A gap, center to A gap, like, you really got something strong there. You mix that with a little Jalen Ryan, the way Small and Wright have been playing, maybe a little Sampson, you could really start to bust some of those A-gap plays that just been, let's say, just a beat or two off, taking them to the house. We've had a couple big runs, but not that, not that house call run, right? So that would be great to see, but more for any other reason, just the pace of it and the calmness that Mays, I think, brings to this offense. Like you said, Bull, this stadium's going to be rocking and rowdy, and we all know what false start penalties can do to this Josh Heupel offense.
Absolutely.
We're all talking about Joe Milton this week, right? Everybody's talking about Joe. I know people hated the video that I made yesterday, but it's worth talking about when there is so much divide. There's so many people on this side saying, nope, I've seen this Joe, I'm done. And then there's this side saying, he's the leader, we got to keep him in there. And everybody is welcome to their opinion, man. But something we're not talking about this week is how good Tennessee's running game is. And we're talking about the defense, right? And that's something going back to the beginning of the year. I stole it straight from J.D. Piquel. He's the one that put this out there because I'm talking about how much pressure's on Joe. And it's like, man, if you play good defense and you run the football, Joe doesn't have to go out there and put up Heisman numbers. Joe doesn't have to be a 300-yard guy. Joe can go out there and throw for 200. If the running back room is going to run for 250, and you're going to play good defense, guess what? We're going to go win 10, 11 ball games playing that type of football. Bull, what do you think about this running back room? We got a three-headed monster in Jalen Wright, Jabari Small, Dylan Sampson. Now, Sampson only got 4 touches a week ago. And there's, is he hurt? Is it pass protection? You expect him to get more touches a week ago, but what do you like about this running back room?
Oh, man. I mean, I'm everything. So I don't think it's just 3. I think we've got 5, maybe even 6 guys that are just absolute and total dogs. They've got good size. They're fast. They have good balance. They all look really good blocking. But I think that my biggest takeaway from this offense and these backs is the way that they get downhill so fast. So they're going to get big chunks all the time. And, you have to love that. Running backs will go north and south instead of east and west. We've seen them make people miss more than we did last season. Like Coach Jay said, just waiting on them to hit that home run. And I think that's coming. I think that we might see that in this game because Florida likes to bring everybody up to the line of scrimmage. Once we get to that second level, it's just one guy to make miss, and that's 6 points. So running back room is going to be critical for this team moving forward. And, I think we've got the best room in the entire country.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I completely agree. I think we're going to get that home run, and the running back room is certainly stacked. I know, Boogie, during recruiting, we've been asking for a long time, when are you going to get that 5-star, all everything blue chip running back? Well, we didn't necessarily get that quote unquote 5-star blue chip running back, but as Bull pointed out, we got some dogs out there at running back. We got, fast running backs, explosive north and south running backs that can make one cut and hurt you and pick up, yards in bunches and chunks. And we're going to need those yards in bunches and chunks. Florida is going to bring up that box. And as anyone knows, when you bring everyone up to the box, and especially if you're blitzing someone, when you bring everyone up in the box, your linemen pick up all their players. You are going to bust a big play in that situation. So I think we can definitely get that. I think Florida is going to put a premium on stopping our run and daring us to pass. So, everyone talks about how we want to make sure we burn them in that passing attack when they bring everyone up to the box. And I do agree, you want to take advantage of that. But when you can run on a team, when they bring everyone in the box, you're going to dictate everything in that game, and you're going to take their soul away from them.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
sir.
I like the sound of that, Coach Jay. Take their soul. Take
That's
their
what I
soul
want,
away
baby.
from them. Man, I love it, though, like talking about the running back room, and it's like talking about the misses in recruiting, right? But that's what excites me about this coaching staff, and it's something that me and Coach talk about all the time, Bull, is player evaluation and player development, and how much more important that is than just going out here like Butch Jones and cherry picking 5 stars. What do you think about this coaching staff as a whole, both sides of the ball?
Oh man, we've got a tremendous staff. I mean, just going out and getting players that are maybe not 5 stars, but they're not rated as that. But once you see them play, I mean, they're just ballers, and they do a great job of finding people that fit into this system, that fit into the culture here at Tennessee. And, I cannot say enough good things about this staff. Obviously, once the kids get on campus, you see how good they look just after, 2-3 months. And, I think that we're doing a phenomenal job. Again, y'all might think, I'm just, pumping sunshine or something. But I really think, again, I think that this is one of the best staffs, if not the best staff in this entire country. Coach Banks has done a great job. Obviously Coach Garner. Just everybody. I mean, you can go on and on and on and on and on. Beautiful, beautiful work. I think we've got the best offensive scheme. Defense has come a long way in such a short period of time. I feel like we can go out and get a national championship this year if we come out and handle business against Florida.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Evaluations have been good. Coaching staff's been good. And I think, secretly, all of us volunteer fans are starting to wonder, Banks making all these strides in such short time, how long are we going to be able to keep him on staff is my bigger concern as far as the defense goes. Banks has certainly earned a head coaching opportunity with the product that he's put on the field. And I think every volunteer fan has been ecstatic with this coaching staff, pretty much, front to back, with maybe the hold of Willie Martinez and everyone being a little bit nervous with him.
I love Joey Watts comes in with a backhanded compliment. He compliments Bull and slaps me and Coach in the face at the same time. I love as if we're so like when you're right where you need to be is when people call you a sunshine pumper and people also call you a negaval. That's when you're walking that line
there you go.
the right way. I'm excited about this coaching staff too. And like Tim Banks, how many people were ready to fire Tim Banks because of year 1? And then it's like they improved in year 2, but had a couple of bad games. Still don't believe in Tim Banks. But I love this coaching staff, and it reminds me of the old days of Butch. And I'm like, man, he needs this or that, or he needs time. And it's nice to say that and it come true. And Tim Banks actually be a good defensive coordinator. We're gonna get Bull out the door here. He said he'd give us 30 minutes. This won't be the last time you see him on this channel. We'll get him back on and talk some football. Go sub up BlueChip Breakdown. Again, the link is in the description. You guys do a great job. I love the way you get the kids involved, and you don't talk down to them, or you know what I mean? You never say, oh, hold on, I'm talking. You know what I mean? Like if they start to talk, you say, yeah, give me your opinion. I love it. I love the little one. He's like, man, he's talking about that Utah game. He's like, man, they burn them deep with the slant and go. I'm like, preach, brother, preach. Like, educate me, little man. I love what you guys do. Let them know what's coming up. You guys have a specific schedule when you drop, your recap of the game and you start to look ahead to next week.
Thank you. Yeah. So, we don't have any real schedule right now, but what we would like to do is be able to do like a tailgate on Saturdays, and then maybe like a post game, maybe live, something like that. But we pretty much just post once to twice throughout the week. We'll have something talking about Vols, and then we'll have something else kind of talking about SEC, maybe some national stuff. So you just got to keep a close eye out for it. And, hopefully we can be like you, Boogeyman, and we can start to do this full time at some point, and we'll be able to get a good set schedule put together. But thank y'all so much for having me on.
No problem. We appreciate it. We'll catch up with you later, okay?
All right, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Bull. Yeah.
All right, let's do a little plugs and chills. Let's pay some bills around here. Wow, that rhymed and it wasn't even supposed to. We still got 322 people watching on this Friday morning. We appreciate you guys tuning in, hanging out with me and Coach Jay and Bull there from BlueChip Breakdown. Make sure you guys go sub them up, but also help us out. Smash the thumbs up. we would greatly appreciate it. Go check out the merch. We've got brand new merch, and for some reason, Alicia from Bonfire, every time I sign on, she's just right here wanting to advise me of our base cost. But go check out the merch, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. We appreciate you guys picking it up. If you got merch and you wear it, you rep it out to Neyland Stadium, or you're going down in the swamp, tweet it out, man. Tag me up on Twitter at Boogie Bentley. I would love to see you guys repping the brand. Also, thank you to the members of the channel. I say it every single day on this channel. I'm going to continue to say it. If it wasn't for the members, me and Coach wouldn't be sitting here right now because I would be working for the man. I don't have to do that because of you guys. If you like the videos, the content, the live streams, the community, whatever it is you like about this channel, you want to support us, hit that join button. Boom, right down there below. You can give $1, just $1. That's it. I ask for $1 if you like it. If you want to give more, you can give more. You get access to custom Talkin VAWLS emojis, fan call-in shows, all kinds of fun perks and benefits. Mrs. Coach J says, I got my tank yesterday. Did you not get yours yet?
No.
It's so weird. I guess because it's the two different styles. I think they sit and wait to see if more orders come through because I think you guys got the two different logos. Let me catch up on Super Chats here. Jonathan for 5. Appreciate that, brother. Sunbelt Billy, guess you better slow your losing down. That's what Uncle Lou apparently said. I don't know. A lot of people trying to get me to watch Uncle Lou's video. Apparently he is talking about Tennessee fans and saying that he thinks Tennessee's going to roll and he doesn't understand why we are all so nervous. Dylan Elam for 5. D. Williams opening kickoff to the house and a Gator chomp right in Florida's end zone a minute into the game. Sign me up for that, Dylan. Let me have some of what you're drinking on this Friday morning. Nicholas for 2. Bull's nephew knows more about football than us. I know, man. Those little kids get rolling. I'm like, oh, I'm going to put that in my notes and use that for later. I love it, though. Like I told him, and I wanted to make sure that he knew that. I love the respect that he gives to those kids. He lets them talk. He doesn't cut them off. He doesn't, hey, the grown-ups are talking. You need to sit there and be quiet. I love the way they do that.
Yeah, and I'll just add in real quick on that, Boogie, is someone who, coaches, older kids and has coached younger kids. You'd be amazed at what some of our young men, and I'm sure young women too, I haven't coached them, but are capable of, man. These kids used to fight in wars with us hundreds of years ago, man. They are capable of so much more than you even know. I promise you. Everybody
in the chat's digging Bull coming on. Yeah, man. It was so like, I love the fact that we, just again, behind the scenes, have been talking about it for, a while now. You'd asked me if I'd seen their stuff, and we start trying to figure out how to get them on the channel and do some stuff with them, and then he is randomly in the chat. Look, I say it all the time with Sports Talk Jay, with BBD, with everybody out there that's trying to do this thing that's not your actual media, just regular dudes, man. There's enough cake for all of us to eat. I know you guys in the chat, you bounce from video to video to video. You consume as much content as possible, and I love it. But I do thank you that you choose us when we go live head-to-head against some of these guys. You like to be right here with the Talkin VAWLS family, and I'm grateful for that. Christopher Bernard for 10. Question for Bull. Oh, no. We'll take this question. I wish I'd seen this before Bull jumped out. What running back you start first? Question for Coach Jay. Do you play man and blitz or put the pressure on Mertz, or do you play zone coverage?
I'll attempt to answer for Bull real quick, and he can maybe yell at me in the chat if he's still around if I answer wrong. But, I think it's got to be Jalen Wright. But, hey, man, you got to give them all some run because they've been playing their butts off. As far as what I would do on play man, blitz, zone coverage, philosophy, for me, it's prepare for everything and be multiple. Be ready for everything and be multiple in these big games. And when you find something that works, don't be afraid to ride that hot hand on defense. When you find that, under smoke blitz that's working, when you find that, little wrinkle in the defense that they're having struggles with, then a lot of good defensive coordinators, and I guarantee you Banks is like this, can be multiple off of what's working too. So once you find that little niche that works, you've got this this tree that grows out of what works that you can run. And that's what I would do. I'd be multiple initially, but hey, you got to get in that backfield one way or the other. You want it to happen organically. You want to, have your show and go blitzes. You want to confuse Mertz. Mertz has been a good decision maker for the most part. His arm's not going to set the world on fire. He's more of a game manager. But the second you get in his grill, he's got a real problem once you get in his grill. So I want to play in that backfield. It's why I talked about the importance of the defensive line getting that push along the offensive line. We get that push, guys. Watch that offensive line throughout the beginning of this game. If you see Florida's offensive line getting pushed back in the interior, it's going to be a long day for the Florida Gators. I promise.
I think that defensive line is what makes this defense so much better, right?
Of course.
If you can get home before, then you talk about being multiple, doing different things. Gives you a lot of different options when you've got a guy like Tyler Barron or James Pierce just going out there and whipping the offensive tackle. It's not like, that's what I was kind of talking about earlier with Tim Banks. It's been very basic on defense. There hasn't been a whole lot of stuff, especially up front. Now we've seen them bring Beasley on a blitz. They brought the star, I think last week against Austin Peay, but we've not seen a whole lot up front, a whole lot of different things on the defensive line of scrimmage. So what happens when they're throwing their tricks, when they're bringing out the Joker card and mixing things up with that defensive line? Running backs, man, does it matter? Like, does it really matter what running back you go with first? They're going to rotate. That's a beautiful thing because you got 3 good ones. And like Bull said, you got 5 or 6 good ones, but you got 3 really good ones that are going to contribute in regular SEC play. But, gosh, you got to go Jalen Wright, don't you? Like his you talk about getting north and south, but just his patience too. The way he there was a couple of runs where he just sits and dun 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 and then goes, and it's a thing of beauty.
Slow to the hole and fast through it, right?
Yeah.
It is generally what you want. And although I will say this really quick, I do expect a big running back rotation, but I do think that we are going to see the wide receiver rotation shrink in this game. And hype will go with those proven commodities at the wide receiver position. Maybe I get proved wrong and you see a good amount of Thornton this game. I'm not saying you don't give Thornton any run, but I do think you see the rotation shrink in general in this game.
I can't remember if he didn't play at all in the second half or
not
only
at all.
Okay, yeah, I knew it was very limited, if at all. That tells you something. And, I've seen a lot of the narrative in the chat and in the comments saying, hey, they're not showing you much with Dante Thornton because they're going to break him out against Florida. I don't know that I'm necessarily sold on that. I hope Dante Thornton continues to develop and get better. And maybe he needs to learn this offense, right? I mean, he's only been here since the summer. And maybe he's a guy that doesn't contribute this year, but he's ready to jump in there next year.
Yeah, and I think some of Thornton's problems, and we've talked about this in the past, Boogie, you have to be a good run blocker as a wide receiver in this offense. And, I'm sure a bunch of people in the chat are about to throw a shoe at their screen and be like, but Coach Jay Squirrel White's 5 pounds soaking wet. How can he be a run blocker? But Squirrel damn near chew your ear off to get in your way before a play. Go watch him out there. He's fun to watch. Talk about a little squirrel chewing through a nut. He go get you out there. And, Thornton, you can see the efforts there, but I think he hasn't had enough time learning the technique that this coaching staff instills in their wide receivers. So I think Thornton will be special for us. I think might just be a little bit longer than we anticipated. Once again, I will always take a football player proving me wrong, and I will smile and celebrate it when they do.
Yeah, that's what I hope we see from Joe Milton on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that's been mad at me for saying Joe didn't play good, guess what? Joe knows he didn't play good. He didn't play good. Josh Heupel knows that Joe didn't play good, and I hope he goes out and balls out in the swamp. I'm not just because I say a kid didn't play good or a player that people get mad when I say kid, but he's a grown man, but he's a kid to me. They get mad when I say that, and they're like, well, you need to do, and I get it. Bull was being very optimistic, and people like that, but I'm just going to give my opinion, what I think, react. I'm always going to stay true to what I saw on the football field. I'm not going to pump sunshine and rainbows. I'm not going to be a negaval. Like I said, I'm going to try to walk that even kill, and if people don't like me for it, I guess I'll have to figure something else out. Let me finish up these super chats real quick. Noah James for 2. Want to see more of the opinion play. I say that's autocorrect. Probably option play. Yeah, I want to see that too. I want to see some more Joe Milton running the football. I agree with you there, Noah. Nicholas for 2. Do y'all think losing Coach Golish affected us? I don't think so. I think Coach Golish is a great coach, but this is Josh Heupel's offense. Josh Heupel's fingerprints all over it. I don't know I don't know who's actually calling plays, but if it is Coach Halsley actually calling the plays, Josh Heupel's very involved in that too.
Yeah,
I don't know who actually calls them though.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Halsey's the one, throwing them in. Obviously, there's a certain amount of things that are scripted and unscripted in this offense as well, with route tree variations and RPOs and whatever we may be doing in a specific spot. But there's definitely scripted stuff too, because there's plays that we run to set up plays. There's a lot of that in this offense. So certainly anything like that's going to be scripted. Sometimes when you see a play not work, you just might not be aware that it did work. It's just about to work in a couple more plays. So be aware of that. Now, I'm not going to totally say we lost nothing in Coach G, because I think Coach G was a tremendous teacher of the game of football. And whenever you lose a teacher of the game of football on your team, it costs something. It's going to take a couple ducats out of your wallet when that happens.
Kevin Smith says Joe didn't play bad. His receivers didn't catch balls they should have. That will change this week. See, I think it's both.
Two things can be true.
Do you think Joe played? I don't think Joe played good. I'm not saying he went out there and played awful. Look, he didn't turn the football over. He didn't really throw into traffic much. He did once, made a bad throw at one point, but he threw behind receivers. He threw over their heads. And I've criticized the wide receivers too. They know they've got to be better. If your quarterback's struggling with accuracy, when he hits you in the hands, bail him out. Bail him out. Make a play. It's funny to me listening. You go listen to a guy like Eric Ainge. He's saying the quarterback's got to be better. You go listen to a guy like Jason Swain. He's going to tell you the wide receivers need to be better. That tells you all you need to know. Yep,
definitely both of them.
Evan counts for $20. That is not cheap, Evan. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Says sending my hard-earned UPS money from Georgia to Tennessee. I'd pull my hair out over the summer if I didn't have you to listen to during the day. We need you more than you need us. Thanks, Bug. Coach, you the man. Wow, what a great – man, you paid $20 just to build us up, make us feel good about ourselves. I needed that, Evan.
I'll take it.
I needed that self-esteem boost after yesterday and the destruction that I received to my ego. Oh, man.
There you go. Yeah. Definitely. We'll take all the daily affirmations we can get.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Oh, some people. Like I was on Locked On Vols this morning. You guys can go check that out, breaking down the Florida game with Eric Kane. And the first comment I see, Boogie adds nothing to this. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support. All right, let's get back on track here. Let's talk about this football game. Somebody mentioned Uncle Lou in the chat earlier and what he had to say. Why are Tennessee fans so upset about this thing? Tennessee has better talent. Tennessee's favored. The line, I think, is now down to 6 going into the game on Saturday. But, let's talk about it. The streak, it's been since 2003. Look, we're all passionate, psychotic fans. I say that all the time, but it's true. You and I hang out on this channel in the middle of the freaking summer talking about where a 17-year-old kid is going to decide to go to college, and there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in the chat. We are obsessed. We love this game more than anything, so we react emotionally to that Austin Peay game. Like, now that you've had almost a week, Coach, to sit on it and think about the streak and think about the Austin Peay game, are you confident? Are you really as confident as Bull was sitting down there saying, we're going to go down there and beat the brakes off of Florida? Are you confident?
I feel really good about it like Bull does, and I think if you really kind of picked the scab and got into why we both feel really good about the game, it's because I think we're going to own the trenches in this game. I think we're the better team on both sides of the ball in the trenches in this game. And hey, let's make no bones about it. These games have been decided in the trenches in one way or the other for 95, 98% of the series. And certainly in a game like this, it will be with the way Napier runs his offense. The trenches will decide this game. Could it come down to a weird pass play? I mean, sure, football's crazy, anything that can happen. But, we always tend to remember those couple handful of plays, right? I was listening on my drive in today, Kaner and the Locked On Vols, mix over that he did with the Gators fans. And, the Gators Locked On Vol guys kept saying, oh, well, the Utah game happened because we shot ourselves in the foot 3 times. Well, last I checked, there was 160 plays ran in that dang game. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we can point to a handful of plays all we want. But the bottom line is whoever dominates play in and play out at a greater, rate, that's who's going to win the dang football game, right? Look at the Austin P game. Dauber keeps saying, we won the dang game. Everyone shut up. We won the dang game. Why did we win the dang game? It wasn't because of those handful of plays that we want to talk about. It's because we dominated the line of scrimmage and we won the greater, value of plays in the football game, full stop. It doesn't matter who you're playing, Florida, Austin P, Shady Pines Convalescent Home, or the, 61 Bears or whoever you want to be, that's going to be what decides the game.
But isn't it fair to look at that Austin P game, though, and when you're critical of it coming out of the game, you say you can't do that against Florida. You do that against Florida, it's going to cost you a football game. You do that against Bama, it's going to cost you a football game.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as a crazy, rampant, insane fan, I've told everyone multiple times, anytime Boogie, someone jumps on and is like, oh, well, I liked this channel better when there wasn't, any kind of coach or anyone on, I like, hey, I put on my fan hat when I come here. Like, I throw everything out the window. That Austin P game hurt my soul, and as a fan, scared the ever-loving crap out of me. Once I was able to recenter, maybe that coach element me started to win out a little and look at it like this. I guarantee you this football team has recentered, has gone to work, and is ready to put on a dang show.
Let me catch a couple of these real quick. Roy Gibson becomes a member of the channel. Appreciate that, Roy. Also, Killer Sax Solo becomes a member. I don't remember which one said they needed that power T beside their name. I appreciate that, guys. Even if it's $1, if you give more, great. If you don't, if I could get half of the subscribers of this channel to give $1 a month, I would stop telling you guys to hit the thumbs up. I would stop telling you guys to share out the videos, and I would just jump on here and talk Tennessee football because I wouldn't have to worry about my bills anymore. But for now, I got to worry about the bills, and I got to do some plugs and chills around here. Rocky Top Tom for 5. Appreciate that, brother. Not going to be a typical game where we have a better team but lose to Florida. If we win by 14 or more in the swamp, I'll dump my battered Vol syndrome for good. Tom, I kind of said that last year. I said that Josh Heupel was the cure for battered Vol syndrome, and then right after the Austin P game, I went right back to it. But the further we get away from that game, the better I feel. I've said 5,000 times this week in my 40 hours of live streaming talking about this game, Vegas doesn't get emotional, right? They still put out the spreads with who they think is going to win the football game, and there's a reason they think Tennessee is favored by almost a touchdown. But how many times, Coach, over the years, again, going back to 2003, how many times did we go into that game and say, I think we're better than Florida? Were there times that it was maybe true, or was it just fan speak? This year, I think Tennessee is truly better than Florida at multiple positions.
I think there's games where it has been true and games where it hasn't been true. So I think it's a little bit of a mixed bag. Hey, there's been games where I didn't think Tennessee was better than Florida, and we had a chance to win. The game where Willie Martinez gave up that famous last second play against Florida, I thought we were going to lose that year. I did not think we had the better team that year. I mean, I guess we did end up losing, but we lost because, we did put a shotgun to our foot at the end of that game and blow it off. So, you can't get to yourself, but in general, it's going to be who's winning every play. And, I think we're going to be all right. I agree with what you're saying about Vegas. Vegas doesn't get emotional. And, hey, look, Florida's a nice, sexy pick this week for a lot of those armchair, handicappers out there, who it doesn't cost them anything to go, oh, Tennessee played bad and Florida's getting points at home at the Swamp, and in Michigan, Joe Milton was bad. And I'm going to tell everyone to bet the farm on Florida this week, but I'm only going to put $10 on it so I can sit here on my YouTube channel and say that, I won 53% of my games, maybe. That I don't really give too much credence to whatsoever.
That was kind of out of left field there. Jonathan
Sorry.
Campbell becomes a member of the channel. Appreciate that, Jonathan. Look, I said I was going to stop asking for thumbs up and shields and plugs, and everybody starts to become a member of the channel. I appreciate that. CTB Spiffy also becomes a member of the channel. Appreciate that. Thank you guys both for the support. I've said again multiple times, I think this is an interesting matchup because it reminds me of the old days, and I say old days like, Fulmer versus Spurrier. And every time you watch that game, man, like when you think back, the East was always on the line. Like every year, Tennessee, Florida, the East was on the line. It just was. And then they always threw the stat. The game's always on CBS, always at 3:30 because it's always the game of the week, and they always threw out the stat. Whoever runs for the most yards is going to win the football game. And I feel like both of these football teams, and I'm not saying Josh Heupel doesn't have confidence in Joe Milton. I think he has all the confidence in the world in Joe Milton. But I think from the outside looking in, both these football teams want to go in and establish the run. Florida wants to establish the run. That's what they got back to against McNeese State. But again, it's McNeese State. So how much do you really put into the fact that they ran the football for 327 yards? It's McNeese State. What did they do against Utah? I've got the numbers here trying to go back. I think they ran for 13 yards. Yes, 13 yards on the ground against Utah. Tennessee's really, really good defensively against the run. Flip side of that, you want to make Mertz beat you with his arm, right? And you mentioned that I think he's had one interception in 2 games this year, but he's turned the football over before he transferred to Florida. 10 interceptions a year ago, 11 the year prior to that. I think if Tennessee gets after him, they can force some mistakes. Same thing for Florida. Do you think they creep guys down into the box and try to stop Tennessee's run game? I think it really feels like an old school SEC matchup where whoever runs for the most yards wins this football game.
Yeah, I absolutely think they're going to bring people in the box. I think they're going to bring pressure off the edge more than anywhere and try to pick, specifically not on Campbell, but you all know who I'm talking about, who's been struggling this year over on the other tackle position. It's been a bit of an issue, and I expect them to test them. But I also expect Heupel and Joey Halsey to be ready and to, lend a hand with the running backs and chip in those situations, whether we're, chipping with a pulling guard or with a tight end or with a running back. I think we're going to get a hand when it comes to those edge blitzes. And I think there's a really simple answer, which I touched on earlier, which is test that A gap early and often, specifically if Mays is playing, and then you got to beat them deep. I think it was you and Gabe and Dauber who were talking, and you were like, okay, so you come out and say you test them deep and Joe overthrows the ball, what do? Do you continue to trust him? And Gabe was like, yeah, you got to trust him. I caught myself in my car yelling what I would do in that situation. I would throw the damn deep ball again immediately. The next play is what Coach Jay would do. And then if he missed that, I would run power.
Yeah. Always go back to Coach Jay, power right, on two. Ready?
Big break. Yep.
I got to send a shout out to Jeff Puckett, gifted 5 Talkin VAWLS memberships. I love when you guys gift them because we get to expose the lurkers. The lurkers in the chat that don't talk, they're hiding. Drunken Vol was gifted a membership. Frank Stanfield, Michelle Curran, is that how you pronounce that? Educated Opinion, and SBG, all gifted memberships by Jeff Puckett. Appreciate that, Jeff. Also, Devin becomes a member of the channel. Man, I think all this boils down to is people want me to stop saying smash the thumbs up. They want me to stop shilling and asking them to share the link. But, hey, I'm here for it. Appreciate all the support from you members of the channel. Look, we're going to wrap this thing at an hour, but you guys know Coach Jay is not a part of the Wednesday show. He does the tailgate show. He does the post-game show. He does the Sunday show, the Tuesday show, the Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. This is Coach Jay's time to give his official prediction. So let's see if we can coach him up. Did you hear me make fun of you on Wednesday night?
I did.
It was so.
I was like, all right, fine. I better talk for
everything I said to Coach Jay went right over his head. And he's like 24-12. I'm like, come on, Coach. All right, so give us your final thoughts on the game, what Tennessee has to do. Put your spin on it, whatever you want to do, and then give us your official prediction.
I think it's going to be a line of scrimmage game. First and foremost, I think we're going to see a little bit of a throwback with that. I think you're going to see a much more multiple offense out of Josh Heupel, like we talked about. I think we're going to see all those route trees. I think we're going to see a lot more motion out of this offense. We've been pretty stagnant once we've gotten into our offensive sets, and we haven't been giving teams a lot of looks. It's just been base. So I expect that vanilla to come off. I expect, mint chip, rocky road, double fudge, all the good ice, maybe even a little birthday cake. Miss J likes birthday cake ice cream.
Oh,
So
that's good stuff.
they're going to sprinkle a little birthday cake ice cream in there, and they're going to give them a heck. I expect this defensive line to come out and absolutely smash Mertz and the running backs for Florida. I think we're going to get a pick. I want to see Haddon turn his damn head around and finally get that pick. And I want to see Beasley rack up 14 tackles. I think we get those 14 tackles in a huge game. Beasley's best game of the year coming up right now, ladies and gentlemen. And as far as the score goes, I got the Tennessee Volunteers winning 38-24.
Love it, man. I love it. I'm here for it. Let's see. We got Clayton Gilbert becomes a member of the channel. Appreciate that, Clayton. Shout out for the support. Dylan for 2. Win that game for us tonight, Coach J, GBO. Don't give him any bulletin board late, but is it a big one or not? Or are you just going to go out there and cruise through this one?
Nah, it's easy.
The difference in
I'm not allowed to do that, right? Sorry.
The difference in you
45-3.
the difference in you this morning versus last Friday morning is two polar opposite human beings. So, I had a feeling it might be cruise control. Man, it's been a fun show. I love these Friday morning shows. You guys have been very, very giving today. I appreciate that. Don't forget, we got Josh Prey in the house, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to do the tailgate show an hour and a half prior to kickoff. Me and X are going to come on, hang out with Josh Prey, and then we're going to open it up to a regular tailgate show after about 30 minutes. So make sure you tune in for that. I'll probably drop a video tomorrow morning, bright and early, with a game day video. I like to do that. And then obviously we'll be live immediately following the game. But as always, man, appreciate you guys tuning in. We didn't get enough members, so please smash that thumbs up because it does help the channel. Share this thing out. Let them know we had a great show this morning. For Coach Jay, my name is Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange. Took Coach Jay off the screen because I didn't want him. Last time I caught him completely off guard, so now I'm letting him know that the show's not over because we got a $10 super chat from the real Hank. I'm not going to let $10 go unread, so thank you for the donation, Hank. Since people keep saying the defense looks good, but we really haven't played anyone. We're first in sacks, first in tackles for loss. Who has Georgia played? Aren't they supposed to be number one? Exactly, man. All you can go by is what you've seen on the football field. Like, I mean, people get mad. They're like, oh, they've not played anybody. It's like, do you want before every comment we make to say, Tennessee, they only played Virginia and Austin Peay, but they lead the country. That gets old. I get it. So, yeah, Tennessee is doing what they're supposed to do. That's right, Hank. Thank you for the $10. Wanted to make sure we got that read on air. We'll wrap this thing up again. For Coach Jay, I'm Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.
The songs, how